signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Beyond the Bat Signal. I got a very special guest, someone I have been bugging for a while because he's got quite the expertise. He's not just like an avid comic superhero fan of all. He is also a big time gamer. And I'm not just talking big time. Like, this guy owns his own video game store. He can share what the name is, but I've seen his store, and I've even seen his own personal collection. It's next level. I got none other than longtime friend, the guy I like to call Grand Dave. Dave, welcome on the show, broski.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So before we kind of get into it, I like to kind of do a couple of icebreakers. First and foremost, let's start with like kind of like your background into video games, because I've seen it. Maybe you want to share, because like to me, this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about the Arkham universe and like how we haven't really gotten a video game. I swear to God, we haven't talked about this, and I'm kind of curious about your thoughts. You always like to, you always have interesting perspectives, and it's so well thought out, and there's like reasons as to why. You don't spit out BS. You explain, like there's justification as to why you think the way you think. But yeah, if you wanted to give a quick background of who you are, and then we'll kind of get into like the Batman stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So start for video games. I mean, basically as far back as I can remember, we got a Nintendo, late 80s, very expensive. Parents couldn't afford much. And basically it sort of became this thing where, as a child, you kind of looked up and wanted some of these other ones. If you'd go to the stores and take a look at some of the stuff, you definitely want to own some of it. And it was just, honestly, it was just out of reach at that time. They were so expensive. People forget, actually, in the 80s, games were, in Canada and the US, 80, 70, 80, 90, $100, depending on the game.
Yeah.
So minimum wage in Canada in 85 is $3.11. So no one could buy any of this stuff. You had to be pretty well off. So you had to rent, you had to borrow, you had to trade, you had to do what you could to get it. And so it kind of became this thing where I knew a long time ago that I just wanted to collect a lot of them and wanted to experience some of the games that I liked, because every time I played a new one, I always felt this sense of sort of, wonder or mystery, or at that time tech was moving so fast that each game felt like it was, each one felt like a new thing, new experience, and each one was more mind-blowing than the last. And so, as you kept playing them, you go from Mario, Tetris, as early as Pac-Man in the 70s, or early 80s. And then each one was just like a new experience, or a new sort of escape. And as a kid, like you're bored, so you want to do something, and games was my thing. We definitely got into movies and stuff like that, and I got into comics in the 90s and stuff like that, but games was the forefront for sure.
Oh yeah. For me, I just remember my dad coming home, and it was like he brought home, he's like, look what I got. And I remember him waking me up, and I was probably like 5 years old, and it was a Nintendo, and he threw in Super Mario, and then followed by Duck Hunt. And then but the game that always sticks with me is that Ninja Turtle game. Right now it's slipping my mind. I just remember that first level where there's like the fire at the bottom of the screen, and I never ever beat that game while playing a Nintendo. I was never good enough. But I
Yeah,
just
there's
remember, and I played
actually
hours and
there's
hours.
yeah, so there's actually there's four Ninja Turtles games on, if I remember correctly. There's
Yeah.
Tournament Fighters is a fighting game. The first one's a side scroller. It's not very good. The second one is the one that you probably remember, which is the fire at the bottom. It's a beat 'em up game called the arcade game.
Yes,
So
the
that's
arcade.
actually the arcade game released in 1989 as an arcade unit. They downgraded the four-player arcade version and brought it to the NES. So the NES got the two-player downscaled version. Because remember, arcade cabinets are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 at that time, and the Nintendo is 300, $400. So there's no way the Nintendo can run an arcade board or an arcade game, right? Especially because of the size and everything.
Yeah.
So we got a downscaled version of Turtles the arcade game, but still a very good game. And the third one is actually a beat 'em up. It's actually quite rare. It's called Manhattan Project. Also a beat 'em up like the '89 one. I think that one got an arcade version, but it was Asia only or Japan only. So, but yeah, those games are awesome. And the Turtles Arcade would then be the predecessor to what became sort of the beat 'em up genre: Double Dragon, Battletoads, and then we got Turtles in Time, which is the fourth one. Also went to arcade, four-player version, and then we got the downscaled one on Super Nintendo.
Wow. Like, you see, I'm just looking up right now the Manhattan Project, and I
Yeah,
feel like I would have known this. I have no clue. But
yeah,
like, because I'm looking at the cover, I'm like, no, I've never seen this in my life.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's actually quite rare. I mean, it's not super
Do you have
rare.
it?
I
I
do.
gotta ask.
I do have it. I do
I
have it.
knew
Yes.
it. I knew
Yeah, I've
it.
actually I got the first four. And Tournament Fighters would make its way to Super Nintendo as well, but apparently they downgraded the NES version, so the NES version is like over $100,
Yeah.
and the Super Nintendo one's like $30 still. It's not a very good one, but as far as Turtles games go, the peak Turtles games we got was '89 and the arcade game.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, 2 years ago, they actually released something called the Cowabunga Collection: 13 Turtles games on one disc or cartridge if you get the Switch version,
Yeah.
13 in one, and we finally got the ports of the arcade versions. So those arcade versions with the four-player, they are actually on that version of the game, as well as the Nintendo downgraded ones are also on there.
Okay, this is like I knew about this and I've seen it on sale and I still haven't like gone to go get it. I just right now I got is it
It's
Shredder's
worth everything.
Revenge? Yeah, I know.
No, Shredder's Revenge is the new one to make it that looks like a classic Turtles arcade game.
Yeah.
So interesting for Shredder's Revenge, it's kind of like part five, the arcade game that we never got. It never went to arcade. It's a console game, but it's made to look like that 8-bit, 16-bit version of those ones that we grew up with. Um, but it's really cool because the four turtles are playable. Casey Jones is a secret character, Splinter and April, and they just released the Ultimate Edition with three extra characters from the show that I don't know because
Oh,
these
sick.
are characters that came out later. But you can actually, the coolest part, if you buy the Switch version or the Xbox version, you can play 6-player local. The PlayStation version is 4-player local, but you can play 6-player online. So it actually is one of the first beat 'em ups for. I think it's the first one for Turtles that does 6-player mode, which is very cool.
God, I never knew that.
Yeah. So, and by the way, if you haven't got Cowabunga Collection, it's $50 in Canada. I think it's like $30 in the US. Worth every penny. 13 Turtles games in one, and then now the new one, the one that you're mentioning, Shredder's
Yeah.
Revenge.
Yeah. Wow. I'm definitely gonna look it up. Now moving towards some like I feel like there was two loves growing up. It was Ninja Turtles and then Batman. So I guess to kind of break the ice. Favorite Batman movie. And first you share, and I have a quick story about how you opened up my eyes. And I was like, wow, that's actually a good explanation. Anyway, favorite Batman movie of any one of them that was released up until this point.
Yeah. So my favorite one is, interestingly, the one that we always talk about and we've talked about in the past. It's Batman Begins. It's got
I
to be.
knew it.
It's Christopher Nolan. It's him getting this project and him grounding Batman in realness. And so we get this, and the portrayals, the acting, the cinematography, the music, the pacing, uh, the storyline, the characters. I mean, the trainer, the ninja stuff. It's just all there. It's everything you want in a Batman story. Um, and it's interesting because it's not super classic Batman, but it's definitely a nice take of Frank Miller's Batman, which obviously, for a more modern Batman, I love Frank Miller's Batman. So for segue for the comic, it's obviously year one as well for me. Frank Miller. I mean,
Oh.
it's definitely got to go with those two. Those are my favorites.
You opened up my mind to Begins because you were like, of how you explained of how Batman Begins is a true Batman movie, and I was like, I don't know if you remember, you're over at my parents' house and over for a swim, and then we are just kind of going back and forth with a couple of buddies, and we're like, The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie. You're like, it's a great movie, but in terms of a true Batman movie, Batman Begins is a better film. And kind of like what you said, but you went like in way more detail, and I was like, Jesus, I'm like, that's so true. And like, I always look back at Batman Begins, and I look at it so fondly, like even the way like how Gotham kind of is portrayed
Yeah,
with Batman Begins
really good.
feels, it's so good, right? And I love looking back, even the bat suit, like nothing against like the Dark Knight and Rises suit, like I didn't mind it. I love the Batman Begins bat suit. Kind of gives me vibes though of the Long Halloween bat suit, like just the way the mouth is, the way Jeff Loeb, or oh my god, Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale drew him, and I don't know, just kind of gave me vibes that way. And then everything had a reason and like kind of expanded on who Batman was, and then like even the characters, like you're looking at Carmine Falcone, Lucius Fox, and then like the
Yeah.
way everything was just taken so seriously.
What's nice about the characters there too is they're not just throwing characters in a movie just for the sake of it. They work well together. You know,
Yeah,
Rachel being sort of this new character, but it kind of makes sense in his childhood and why she's pivotal. The lines in the film, how each line connects to a later line in the film,
oh
like
yeah,
that through point, that's really nice. Um, and then again, it's one of those things with each villain that shows up, it's not just like shoehorned in. It feels like that person's supposed to be in that particular scene or that particular moment. And just kind of the way they play with that flower hallucinant for the League of Shadows, which ends up being sort of Scarecrow's way in
yeah,
to try to put the fear gas into Gotham. I just thought it was really really well done,
yeah,
and
everything connects.
it just connects, and it's a really really nice story. And one of the big things for me is Batman the detective.
Yeah,
That's a big one for me. He basically like stops being a detective after number two, and it's actually very frustrating rewatching those movies sometimes, because it was very cool and very well thought out on how he do it. And how about the gadgets? How about the sonar pulse with the bats? I mean, I just thought that was one of the
yeah,
best scenes in the entire trilogy. I just thought that was so iconic to make it look like he's superhuman, but obviously he's just really smart. And I just thought
yeah.
that was such a really cool moment in the movie.
That was a
Um,
page taken out of Frank Miller's Year One.
yeah,
Like I
it's beautiful.
absolutely loved it. Yeah, I completely agree. Like I don't know if you could see what I'm doing. My head's nodding, and I'm like, yep, 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 yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
completely agree. And yeah, even the flower, like just I don't know, like always mind your surroundings. Like that's something where like in my mind, I'm like constantly looking around. I'm like, this is like a life lesson right here. And like even the why do we fall, or I'll even say to one of our mutual friends, he's a twin, but Marco, and I'll always send him a gift. Like I didn't say thank you. Love
And
it.
you never have to.
Yeah. Now that kind of leads into like with Batman Begins, we got Batman Begins thanks to the abysmal Batman and Robin, and I can look back on it and be like, okay, like this is like it's one of those like
They were, by the way, they were catering to kids, eh? So
oh
the
yeah,
the whole push was to move toys and kids stuff, and so those movies really suffer from it. Even though there's some nice stuff that's cool about it, like Uma
so
Thurman, I thought was great, and
yeah.
some of the other cool things I thought were pretty neat in the movies. But looking back, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't think it holds up. It was fun when you're a kid or whatever, but
Yeah.
I don't think it holds up as well.
No, yeah, I agree. And then, but like, you got that little bit of history, and then it's like the same thing with the video games. Like we had, and I wouldn't say that the Batman video games were terrible. Like I remember playing Batman Vengeance, and then there was Shinsu, or I can't remember. Um,
Rise of the Sinzu.
Rise of the Sinzu, and
Yeah,
then Batman Begins came out with I thought a pretty decent video game, and
it
then
was
we were
decent.
supposed,
Yeah.
yeah, and we were supposed to get to Dark Knight, but then we didn't, and we all of a sudden we got Batman
Oh,
Arkham.
by the way, I just want to pull it back here, just
Yeah, yeah,
1 second here. So Batman on NES, the first one, the 1989 one, not a bad game. It's a side scroller.
yeah,
Batman Returns on Super Nintendo and Genesis, also not bad, pretty
yeah.
good. Penguin's on the cover, Catwoman's on the cover. It's actually not bad. Batman Forever is terrible.
Oh God, I know.
It's I bought it, it was just bad. Then there's the so now here's the weird one. There's four games with the same name, but they are all different games. Okay, but they have the same title, so it's very confusing. The name of the title is The Adventures of Batman and Robin, based on the 90s cartoon show.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one for Genesis, there's one for Super, there's one for Sega CD, and there's one for Game Gear. They all bear the same name, and all four of them are different games with different levels and different soundtracks.
That's
Okay,
not.
so it's absolutely nuts. The Genesis is the one I grew up on. If you haven't played it, unbelievable game, unreal, fantastic. Some people swear by the Super Nintendo one. I thought it was okay. I thought it was second best, but some people love that game. That game's very expensive now. I think it's in the $200 range.
Oh,
It's up there. It's up there. It's a rare title. And then the Game Gear and the Sega CD ones, I've never played them, but again, different game, different thing. I don't even think they play the same way. The Sega CD typically, what they do with Sega CD is what they were doing is they'd show you video footage of something and they'll let you press buttons at the same time for QuickTime events. So you're not actually playing the game. The game's not being rendered. It's just video in the background. So typically what will happen is you'll just watch an episode of the show probably or something like that. And
yeah.
then as they're attacking in the show, you're pressing buttons. That was most of the Sega CD stuff. So I would imagine the Batman games like that, but I haven't played that one specifically. But the other ones were fantastic anyway.
Do they call this like the lost episode? Right? Like that's if my memory serves me correct.
For
Like
which one?
the Adventures of Batman and Robin. Isn't that like I think they coined that as like the lost episode.
Oh, I mean, I don't
Like it's
know.
one long like episode. Obviously, you're playing, but it's like a you're
I,
playing
I
BTAS, but
haven't
like
played
a
that one, but yeah, that might be the lost episode. Yeah, sure.
yeah. Oh man, like see, and I've never played it in my life. I've seen it. I've seen it at your place. I don't know. Did you have the Super Nintendo? I know you showed me the Sega one, or was it
I
Sega?
have the Sega Genesis one. I don't
Yeah.
have the Super one. We've had it multiple times at the store, and I've never pulled the trigger on it. Because I'm a box collector, but the
Yeah.
box is just getting out of reach now. I think it's $500 or something like that. It's really up there. So
Holy smokes. I'm gonna eBay this. I'm gonna quickly look. I'm curious though. So we're kind of getting now into the Arkham games here.
yeah,
Because first and foremost, like we've got, I guess, four of the main titles for it's Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight,
yeah,
and then there's also Arkham Shadow, but just not as widely available as it's
yeah.
just one for one specific system. What's your favorite game of all?
Um, so Arkham Asylum is my favorite game. I love the setting of it, the pacing again. I thought it was a nice compact story, and the Riddler challenges didn't get out of hand.
Hmm.
There's 100 something Riddler. I think there's 120. I've beaten the game 6 times. I actually don't know how many Riddler challenges there are. In number two, there's 440. It's 400 plus the Catwoman one, so it's 440. But I remember that being like astronomical. Like it just didn't make any sense. They just added way too much puzzles. And what you end up happening in City is the pacing's off because you're going from point to point. The city's too big. And with all the puzzles, if you don't realize that you need all the gadgets before you can do all the puzzles. So for example, you might need the Mr. Freeze stuff and you don't have it in, hour 10 of playing the game. You'll get it in hour 40 of playing the game. And so you'll try this puzzle and you won't know that you don't have the correct gadgets and the right gear and stuff to do the puzzle. So
Yeah.
so with Arkham Asylum, I just thought it was like a more compact story, and the villains, the voice acting, everything in that game, pacing, I just thought it was a great game. My only problem I had with Arkham Asylum is that you can't appreciate the graphics mostly because you're in detective mode 90% of the time.
Yeah.
I
It's
just
dark.
found myself in detective mode every single time because there's no reason to not be in detective mode. I wish there was Riddler trophies that you could only see in standard mode without the detective mode. But once you put detective mode, it basically lets you see through everything and look for everything. And so like that was the only weird thing about it. It was such a beautiful looking game, and we couldn't really appreciate it if you're in detective mode all the time. So, which most of the time you had to be, I thought.
I agree. Like, you know what? It wasn't until I had the PlayStation 5 or no, I was playing on PlayStation 4
Yeah, the PS4
because
dog.
they had that Arkham collection.
Yeah,
And I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna like I just took my time with was with the city and Asylum, and I just kind of took my time, especially with Asylum. I remember playing it, and lights were off, and it felt like a horror film. But like I took my time with it, where I was just like, hey, kind of looking at the ambiance and like looking at what like these guys, that these game developers, the time that they put into this video game, and like the atmosphere, and like, you know, everything. It's kind of like how you said about Begins, but everything had a purpose. Every little like placement, every little detail, heck, like they even had like the best Easter egg of all time, and they had to basically come out and tell fans like, listen, we were planning for Arkham City, and this is where you find it. Wasn't it in
Yeah,
like a jail
and
cell?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Arkham Asylum as a package, it's just a complete package. Yeah, it doesn't have all the features of City. Yeah, it's,
Mhm.
it's a little rougher now when you play it because the other games are so much smoother. Um, horror style though, they really leaned into that with number three because Scarecrow's kind of a meme in number one, and then in number three he becomes more grounded and more real, and they really play along that Halloween sort of vibe in number three for Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the Joker stuff in Arkham Knight. I just thought it was shoehorned in, and I just really didn't appreciate it as much. If they had left Joker for number three, I think it would have hit harder. But they came out swinging with number one and two, and they had him as a pivotal character number one, and then number two is Hugo Strange, which was weak. I just thought it was a lot weaker. Like even Azrael was like cooler than like Hugo Strange. Hugo Strange is not imposing. I wasn't scared about him at all
Yeah.
the whole
No.
time.
Yeah, I
Uh,
thought he was kind of like
and
a little bit of a waste.
yeah, and as for what you were saying with the game developers, here's something interesting actually. So a lot of people don't know this. Rocksteady not only got the rights for the Batman games, to do the DC sort of Arkham Asylum game. They actually, a lot of people don't know this. They had free reign to create new characters for the Arkham Asylum universe. Now, I don't know if that pertained to just Arkham Asylum itself, but some of the cops and some of the later characters actually made their way back into comic books. They were not created until they were created for Arkham Asylum's video game.
I had
So
no
that's
idea.
that's another really cool example of watching DC kind of let their creative teams sort of work. Because if that never happened, we would have never got Harley Quinn and some of the other really cool characters in the universes, right? And
Yeah.
so they didn't really create anyone like too cool or too amazing or anything like that in the Arkham games. But I just thought like giving them that creative freedom, I thought that was just really, really special and just added to the game and added to the lore of Batman.
Well, you're leaving it in the hands of Paul Dini, who wrote the first two video games. And in my head, I'm like, okay, that's a no-brainer. Like, the guy did invent him, and was it Bruce Timm that helped create Harley Quinzel?
Yeah.
So, and she's just one
She's
of the most
just
popular.
she
I
just
mean, right
became
now she's in. Sorry.
yeah, she's just pivotal in the Arkham games. Like she just makes
Yeah,
sense in the Arkham games. And they ran with her and they knew exactly how to utilize her. Again, in Arkham Asylum, you don't feel like any of the characters are really out of place. You just kind of feel like it's this growing universe as you're walking through it. And I just loved it. I just loved it. I know people will say Arkham City. I like Arkham City a lot. I don't think it's a bad game. I like Arkham Knight a lot as well. I've replayed all of them since. Origins, I wish got a little bit more love, but it is a little more rough around the edges. But there's some really cool stuff in Origins as well. But I just like number one. I just thought number one was just like a really nice package.
I know, OG. And like, see, I think I had another guest on, Ryan Lauer, who does the Batman book club, and we had a ranking, and I think mine was, or I can't remember if Origins was number one or number two, and Asylum was number one or two. I can't remember. Um, the one thing I was gonna say, and I don't know, I'm sure you know this, is they didn't bring Paul Dini back for Arkham Knight. And the original plan, if I'm not mistaken, was to have Scarecrow as the main villain, and the other main villain was going to be, and they kind of set it up nicely in City, was to have Hush as the other main villain.
Yeah.
And I was like what could have been? But then they just chose to kind of go in a different direction. They didn't bring back Dini, and if I'm not mistaken, the guys who actually ran Rocksteady, I can't remember right now, they were the ones who kind of spearheaded the whole project. And I'm not saying, listen, you look at the game now, it's beautiful. It still holds up. Made in 2015.
Yeah, it's
And we're
unbelievable.
getting there as to like how 2015
It,
still sticks out to me. But
what's crazy is like I played it on PC and I showed you the ultra wide and all that. Oh,
yeah,
But
Sick.
Arkham Knight is obviously an amazing game. But here's the cool thing about it: on PS4 and Xbox One, still to this day, it looks better than some of the new stuff that's coming out. It's unbelievable. Like
True.
I don't know the graphics design or how they did it, but the rain effects, the rain on the suit, the
Yeah.
ambiance, the lighting, they really hit it. It looks even better on PC, which is hard to believe because it already looks really, really good on standard. It just begs the question why, if they don't want to milk it, why haven't they brought out a new gen version and just remastered it again? Because it is a different game on PC. Like it plays and feels like a different game. And Arkham Asylum and City also have ultra wide support on PC, which is absolutely insane because the first one came out in 2009, I believe. So the fact that they even added that for like the 1% of the one percenters, unreal. Like there's probably me and like 400 people that have that worldwide.
Wow.
Like no one uses this, right? But I
No.
just, if you're an enthusiast and you want to see it, that's what it is.
I have seen it, and it's like something where it completely opens up the city itself, or like even if it's like let's just use. I think you use Arkham Knight, and I'm like Jesus. I'm like you can see the entire city, just the way your screen was positioned. I was like, this is next level.
Yeah.
Um, so let's kind of get into that because there's no game really. Like, there's a lot of games that just don't match it, and all of a sudden it's 2015. We have what's 2026 now, and we have had remakes where it's like you have the Arkham collection where we've had Asylum and Arkham City be not remake, kind of what was it, upscaled, let's say, right?
It's a touch
Is that
remastered.
the
It's
proper
basically
term?
it's basically
Remastered.
it's a slight remaster, but honestly, man, it's a very lazy one. They could have
Yeah,
done way more, and they didn't bring the 4K assets into it. So really, it's begging for another upgrade soon, and maybe we'll get an Arkham Trilogy pack. Switch got one last year, I think, or 2 years ago. There's a Switch trilogy pack that came out. Now there is one that came out for PS4 in North America
yeah,
on PS4. People don't know about this one because it came out under the radar. It's $29. You get all three, but I think one of them is a download, so it was a little disappointing. In Europe,
yeah.
everything's on disc, but you get it. You can buy it on PS4 and Xbox One. The Xbox One version is only in Europe. They only brought the North American one on PS4. But again, it's no 4K assets really. Like it doesn't run like 120 FPS, which it obviously can.
No.
So it's waiting for another one. But I mean, with that said, I mean the team isn't what it is, and so if you want to segue into
Yeah.
that, I mean the team is really just not really there anymore. So there's lots of problems with WB right now.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, ask like this is what the pretty much the main show is going to be about. I don't know. I don't understand it. You can probably give a good explanation, but like I've been clamoring for a brand new Arkham game for years since 2015, and I personally like the Arkham franchise can go in two directions. They can either go post Arkham Knight, which they kind of did, and I think that they dropped the ball when it came to was it Suicide Squad League kill the
Yeah,
Justice League or
Double
whatever,
Justice League.
and
Yeah,
then and then I was like, what the heck is this crap? And then or you can go like the Arkham Origins way, where you kind of fill that gap between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum. And for the life of me, and I think many fans, they don't get why there has not been another true Arkham sequel.
yeah,
Um, and like where we're just like the game is these games are so good that we're replaying. Like you beat it 6 times. I'm still replaying it to this day. I
yeah.
love the games, all of them. They're all so good. And to me, timeless too. Like just by the way it looks. Like why is it that they have like yes, you said that the team has changed quite a bit. But like WB, aren't they the
So,
ones who are going to
so it's
say,
actually, yeah. I'll just go off of that there.
yeah,
So, primarily due to a combination of creative decisions, the corporate strategy shifts at Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers Games. Um, they can't seem to get projects finished on time. They can't seem to start projects. They can't seem to follow through. A lot of the Rocksteady team, the original Rocksteady team, the main, from what I remember, the main dudes and some of the bigger talent, they left. Um,
mm-hmm,
and they were exploring different IPs and stuff like that, and they just couldn't get something off the ground. Um, and Arkham Knight was supposed to be sort of the finale, and they didn't want to originally they didn't want to continue with the Batman, and they were apparently so. By the way, Rocksteady early on their dream project was actually a Superman game, and then it never materialized, and they couldn't get a pitch going, and they went to they moved over to Suicide Squad thinking that they had some loot shooter or online thing happening, and it was not well received. Apparently the game's okay. I haven't played it yet, but apparently the game's okay. It's not like the worst thing ever. It's just a very big departure from the Arkham series.
Hmm.
And the big one was the head guys were trying to diversify the DC portfolio to avoid overindulgence in the Batman franchise. And the funny part is that the TT Studio Games is making a new Batman game for Lego, and it looks like an Arkham game. I don't know if you've seen it,
Wow.
but it
Yeah.
looks like an Arkham game. And I think at this point, it's unfortunate that we're not going to see a proper one going on. I was really hoping Netflix or another big conglomerate was going to buy Warner Brothers so that we could actually get some other, push to both the video game side and sort of the movie and show side and try to fix it all. But um, we haven't seen anything yet. I think at this point, if you're looking for that Arkham style game, I think you're going to have to move over to Insomniac and see what they're doing with both Spider-Man and Wolverine. And there's also a hidden project coming out. I don't know if it's next year or the year after, but apparently there's a Blade game coming out, and it should play like the Arkham games too. So that could be pretty fun. But I think we're holding our breath for another Arkham game. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Lego one's going to be the only thing to hold us over. And it's going to take someone buying Warner Brothers for us to see any sort of change there.
Well, we're waiting to see if that sale goes through with Netflix, right?
That's
Like,
right.
yeah. And then the whole Lego game, I mean, they're bringing in, like, I feel like it's like every single Batman when it comes from like the 89 to
Yeah.
Returns, and then
every
they're
every
incorporating the, yeah,
Batmobile is in the game too. So I mean,
bat
it looks
suits.
awesome. It looks really good for sure.
And it's kind of nice that they kind of have some space between them, and then when GTA comes out later that year,
Yeah,
like I'm for sure going to be buying that Lego game. Um,
for
like
sure.
there's no doubt. Like it just, um, and for me, like I'm a Batman fan that you can tell like every single Batman Easter egg is just in there. Like even something like you have Penguin, the little duck, the yellow duck, and then you'll have parts where it's like from the Batman, and you can see where the car's completely flipped over, and like the trailer sold me. That first trailer completely sold me. Are you being in the store? I Every time I come visit you, there's always someone talking to you video games. Does the topic ever come up with you guys, like when it comes to the Arkham series, or even about the new Lego game? Like I know.
Um, yeah, I mean, like, of course, things will come up from time to time. The Batman specifically stuff, we don't really have anyone that's too into it. People like the games for
Hmm.
sure, and they're always a good recommendation if they've never played them. But most of the time, people have played them, they like them, and they kind of moved on. And for me, it feels like it's like I think about it and I go, this is my genre. Like as out of all the video games that I like, I think the beat 'em up sort of style that they've created, that free flow combat mixed with
Hmm.
the stealth aspect, that seems to be my style of video game. I didn't think that was going to be my style because my favorite game happens to be a fighting game. But this sort of open world action adventure game that the Batman games have become, I really really like the genre. 2018 Spider-Man I really like too, even though that one felt very much like an Arkham game,
Oh yeah,
um, which is
inspired.
fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's a Spider-Man. It lends itself extremely well. Arkham even had the lightning bolt spider sense stuff for the counterattacks, and it felt like early on that it could be a Spider-Man game later on, and maybe in some ways Rocksteady was showing them, hey, you can make a Spider-Man game like this, and you probably should. And then we finally got it, which was very cool.
Yeah.
But no, like I think that it doesn't really come up too often. People have played them, they like them, but I don't think they're stuck on them the same way that people that maybe love the genre like myself and you, like
Yeah.
that maybe we're not really stuck on, hey, where's the next one, because we love them so much.
Oh yeah. Like I still replay them, but then I'm like looking over and I'm like, man, how smart is Marvel where they have, I'm assuming that they're going to be making another Spider-Man game. They'd be stupid
Yeah.
not to. Wolverine's
Uh,
coming out. That looks
Actually, the rumor
dope.
is there's a new Venom solo game that might
Oh
come out,
yeah.
which could be good too. I mean, Venom was actually super playable in the other one called Ultimate Spider-Man for the Ultimate Universe. It was a PS2, Xbox, GameCube game.
I remember it.
And it's like cell shaded in 3D, but it's pretty good. And you got to play as Venom in that, even though Venom felt like Hulk a little bit in that one, but still a fun game. Open world, very very good. If no one's played that, check that one out too. That's a fun game. Ultimate
Yeah.
Spider.
And then they have like the Wolverine game coming out, and I think they can't, or no, maybe it's coming out. Because I thought they were going to come out with just a Black Panther, but I think it might be combined with, if I'm not mistaken, Captain America. But they're building that Marvel franchise out. Like,
That's right. Yeah, Captain America might become a thing too. So,
yeah,
by the way, Cap already has a game. It's just it's a little clunky around the sides. It doesn't play quite as smooth as some of the Arkham stuff. Arkham really
yeah,
changed sort of the whole dynamic for the free flow combat system. And I just want to make an honorable mention actually for people that
yeah.
love the Arkham games. If you love the Arkham games, and I do, as well as Dominic here, check out another one that does the free flow really well. Is actually a game that people might not think about. It came out, I think, in 2013 or 14. It's called Shadow of Mordor. It's a Lord of the Rings game where you play as sort of this like mercenary who passes away and a ghost kind of revives him. So you move between sort of the ghost that's embodying you and sort of the guy that you are. So when you die, you just come back, you come and revive. But the combat is very much like the Arkham games. But the cool part about it is he has a sword, and instead of doing the finisher executions with the two buttons, he does the decapitations and different finishers. So very, very cool game. Shadow of Mordor, if no one's played that.
What system?
It's on originally it's on PS3 360, but then the better one, of course, is on PS4, Xbox One, and it did get a sequel. So it's Shadow of War is the second one, and it just expands on the Lord of the Rings universe. Very very good game, third person action, open world, and it has the free flow combat system.
Wow. See, like, and you know what? Why do I think that it's like? I swear you mentioned this to me too. Um, I'm trying to remember if we did. I can't remember. It's been a while. Like, when it came to like, because I had the 360, had the PS3, and then, but I always just remember like, listen, especially for you, who's like like a tried and true gamer who is so diverse. And then you'll look at someone like me where I'm like, okay, I'll play Arkham, I'll play like some of the exclusives, i.e. God of War, i.e. like even Metal Gear Solid at the time was like an exclusive for PlayStation. And then it was just like NHL, Madden, and then WWE. But the WWE at the time, actually, they just came up. It wasn't like every year that they were coming out with a game. It was just like, every couple of years, and they came out with something new. But when it came to Arkham, okay, like the ending of the Arkham Knight, I'm sure you remember it. It's kind of like there were some thugs, and then all of a sudden they hear some noise. They turn around, and then Batman kind of just appears, but in like a nightmare form. Like, do you think that was a true ending? Did that kind of lead the possibility to more games? Because like for me, I was like, oh, okay, they kind of left that door open.
I think it was a send off story, me personally. And by
Okay.
the way, like sort of like the undoing of Bruce Wayne and the stuff at the end of
True.
Arkham. I don't know if I want to spoil it for everybody, but remember that that's the ending of the game, and then there's an epilogue when you get Protocol Nightfall, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Protocol Nightfall is like a separate ending to the game.
Yeah.
I thought it was a send off story. I just that's the way I perceived it. They can do prequels and they can do other really cool stuff, or maybe they can choose another Batman in a different universe, especially now that Kevin Conroy's sort of gone.
Yeah.
People will love Batman Beyond. People love the animated series. There's so many opportunities that they have there. So,
It's true.
to tell this story, I thought it was a nice send off. And you know what? It's probably gonna go down as the Rocksteady trilogy. I think is one of the best 3 packs you can buy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just thought it was a send off story for me personally.
So, would you create a sequel to this game, or would you kind of just completely change the direction, start something fresh?
I think I would start something fresh. But I gotta say, I really love the tone and everything that they did with the game. It's going to be really hard not to like easily go back to that, because the city and the ambiance and sort of that realistic looking Batman that we got in. Because in number one Arkham Asylum, he's kind of like a goon. He's like really top heavy and he looks more cartoonish.
Yeah.
But then when you get closer to Arkham Knight, it feels way more realistic. It feels like, yeah, this could happen. Even though, it's, yeah, the stuff that he can do, spring like catapult from the Batmobile and all this kind of craziness, right? I just thought number three looked so real, and it had a really nice like tone to it. So it'd be hard not to go back to that, but I think I'd try something fresh. You know what I would do? I would actually ask three different teams to pitch three or four different ideas, or three ideas each, and I'd pick from one of them. That's probably what I would do, but I'd want to see kind of like what their heads at and kind of pick one from there. What I think the next chapter would be.
Oh man, like for me, like I'm kind of I like Arkham Knight the way it ended. Like leave it as an I don't know. Like everyone knows who Bruce Wayne is. Once that like his secret gets out, I'm done. Like I don't like when a superhero kind of reveals who they are. I like
Yeah,
to shut that crap down. So for me, I'm like that's the ending. Now you have the beginning of Arkham Origins and then Arkham Shadow. Like listen, I played Arkham Shadow. I thought it was phenomenal. The team at Camouflage did an amazing, amazing job. Just the whole VR experience is sick. But it's not widely available. Like it's not just like people can just kind of go purchase it. Like I just wish that it was available to like people that play PlayStation, Xbox, but it's a VR experience. You know what I mean? But the
yeah,
story that they did was really good. They pushed the story forward. It was a Harvey Dent story. It was very much about Jonathan Crane. And like he really did, he feels like the true villain out of the Arkham franchise because he really got things started with like kind of changing. He influenced Harley Quinn, Two Face, or Harvey Dent
I,
turning into
I was
Two
gonna
Face.
I was gonna ask you, how long is the game?
I'd say about 10 hours.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That's actually way longer than I thought. I thought it was
y-
like what, 2 hours in my head. I was thinking it's two
no,
hours.
no, and it's awesome, dude. Like you got to board. I can't believe I haven't even let you board. Have you played it? Yeah, I guess
No, I
not.
haven't. I haven't played it.
You
I
should
haven't played
borrow it. I'm gonna give it to you, and tell me what you think because it is so good. And it's like when you put that headset on, you're completely immersed. And I gave it to my wife, and I was like, just put this on and just tell me what you think. And she was blown away, because you really do feel like you're in a different world. Um, but again, like to me, it has to push the story forward. They did a good job, but like I also feel like all these users and people that love the Arkham franchise, you got to make it accessible to them. Like,
it. Oh
this is
yeah,
what
we're
made
we're in
your
the dark. I'll be honest with you, we're
yeah.
completely in the dark. I haven't really touched VR. It doesn't really appeal to me because I think the tech isn't there yet. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's a cool idea. I'm glad they did something because
Hmm.
they were kind of showing what they can do.
Yeah,
But also, we're also forgetting something. There's been other Batman games
I
since
know.
we've had Batman the Telltale series.
I loved it. It was
Okay,
so
I
good.
played part one and two. I thought they were great. I
Yeah,
thought they were great. And
and then
so
they stopped.
if you're looking for Batman, there's going to be some. I haven't played the Lego 1, 2, 3, but I own them.
Hmm.
There's if you're a fan, there's something to play. Injustice 1 and 2. There's stuff to play for
I
sure.
love it. Um, so we're kind of getting near the end of the podcast. You're an owner of a video game store here in the GTA. So where we live in Mississauga, but like people that listen in the United States, it's Toronto. Okay,
Sure. Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
Toronto's like the big main city. We're just outside of it. Where do you see the direction? Like, let's get more into like general video games here. Like, where do you see the direction of video games kind of going? Because I was just where do you see the video games going? Because like right now, like I know when it comes to used video games, it's a market where like you have a lot of used video games. It seems like Nintendo's like the hot seller right now.
Yeah.
But where do you see that direction kind of going right now?
Like where video games are going to go in general.
In general, yeah.
Well, I think something's going to happen. There's going to be some type of big shift because what I'm noticing is that if you're 25 and under, you only care about digital games and digital distribution.
Hmm.
And if you're a bit older, you really like your physical media. So, and you want to hold on to it. So what's interesting is all these really nice single player experiences, these Batman games included in there, right? There could be a time where once they're off the digital stores, people are really going to want those experiences again, and there's not going to be a whole lot of them there for them. And so I think they might come back to the store and realize, wow, I made a mistake selling that. I shouldn't have got rid of it, or I wish I really held on to my stuff. I think that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're 25 and under and you haven't played them, and you're still on the online stuff and you're playing online only games that will constantly move over to the next system for you or PC, um, I think you won't care as much. I really don't. I think there's going to be a huge population that's going to care,
Mm-hmm.
but there's also going to be the vast majority of people, I think, that are just going to stick to what they're happy with. But as for the game itself, the industry itself, retro, I hope stays where it's at or does okay later on, because a lot of people, and older and new, they're moving into the PC space. They're really
Mm-hmm.
moving into the PC space, and one thing that's really nice about PC is when you buy your game 10 years ago or 20 years ago and you buy a new PC now, you can just bring your library with you. And so that's a big draw for a lot of people. They want to move between devices. They want to move with their handheld. They got the handheld gaming PCs now that are coming out. They're full-fledged laptops, but they're shaped like a Switch. Lenovo's and Asus ROG Allies and Steam Decks, they all play PC games, but they're handhelds. So a lot of people moving into this PC ecosystem, and one of the main reasons and the driving factor for that is not only do they want to bring their stuff with them over 2 decades or 3 decades, um, they like the ability of, you know, buying the newest piece of hardware and then they're okay. They don't have to rebuy everything, because that is,
Yeah.
that is a problem for the console side. Um, but the price is also a big factor, because
Yeah.
games on PlayStation and Xbox are $89. And so when you look at the price points of PC games, after a year, they're like, they could be as low as $3, you know.
Jeez.
So it's a huge shift in how video games are distributed. But it's really no different than movies. Me and you might like a Blu-ray here and there, but the truth is it doesn't make sense at $40 anymore when you can download it on Apple TV for 4.99, or you can stream it endlessly on Netflix as long as you have a subscription. You know, so it's a sort of a combination of practicality and convenience, and we know that people will choose convenience over everything. So I unfortunately do think the industry is going that way. I just hope there's enough people that care about their physical media, or remember
Yeah.
it enough to kind of keep it alive.
There's nothing like this movie wise. Like the last what did I get? I've only brought 4K. What was it? The Dark Knight trilogy, the
Yeah,
Batman, Zack Snyder's Justice League,
yeah,
all amazing quality. You can't get that on digital,
that's
you
right.
know.
You can't
And
back to the true 4K experiences are actually on the 4K disc. So it's interesting like that. So you'll get the digital downloads, and they're just not quite there.
yeah,
But yeah, it's interesting, man. And the biggest problem is that it's just so expensive. You can buy Dark Knight for 7.99 on Apple or YouTube, and then you're watching it in like terrible quality and whatever. But then the Blu-ray is like, what is it, $50 or $80 for the trilogy? Like, how much was the
yeah.
fourth trilogy? It was like eighty
Yeah, it's
bucks.
like yeah,
Yeah,
on
so I mean,
4K.
the biggest problem is the price point. Like,
Yeah,
people are getting priced out because, in economic downtimes, they're going to go for cheaper, and then they're going to go for convenience. And if it's convenient and cheaper, that's a hard one not to go for, right? And I understand that, but there's something about the physical. I hope it doesn't die, but you never know. It might be a novelty. It might die out. I hope my hope is that it stays with enough people that care about it.
yeah.
um, but I do think the push is definitely for digital and PC specifically for the game side. I think PC is going to do really, really well long term.
So does that affect companies like Rocksteady, who's making video games? It costs a lot of money to develop, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're not making enough money.
Yeah,
because like
yeah,
wouldn't it like
absolutely,
physical meat like to
absolutely.
me, I go to your store and I buy the physical. That's just how I am. I like
Yeah,
physical media. I trust it. It's kind of like I'm not sure if people remember, but like they switched Peter Parker's face in the first Spider-Man. I was like, what the hell? Like I don't know if they
yeah.
can. I haven't played it since they changed his face,
They
but like I have
changed
the.
the race indefinitely. Yeah, they did.
But like, does that affect me because I have the hard copy
No, it
as
doesn't
well?
actually, unless you
See,
update.
like,
If you don't update it, you can see the original.
yeah,
Um, it's man, it's a shift. It's a shift, and
yeah,
it's no different than if me and you were into the theater business and we loved going to the movie theater. Like, how do you convince someone to go to the movie theater now? It just doesn't make
oh
sense.
god, I
Like,
love it.
of course, me and you want to go watch, Avengers Doomsday and the next Batman movie or the next Nolan film or whatever. Right? You want to go there. You want to experience it, right? But it's just really hard to wrap your head around why people want to go there and spend $50 for two people when they could literally pay $20, stream it the day of, download it, and then if they wait 3 months, it goes to Netflix or Disney Plus, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's just at some point it just doesn't make any sense, and the theater is dying, man. The theater is dying, and I think it's the same sort of thing. Are movie studios changing based on the fact that no one's entering the theaters? The answer is yes, right?
yeah,
Now the cool thing about games is there will be a time where the AI will write so much code that three guys will make something as good as Arkham Knight. That will happen.
oh
Okay.
dude,
Yeah,
I
so
gotta
so that's
refer you to
so
this.
so that's really cool, but the thing is like, that's, 15, 20 years away. Um Before that, I mean, maybe less, right? But I mean, so the budgets for the games are going to go down, right? But the selection's going to go up. And then so rifling through that selection is going to be challenging. I mean, could you imagine if they released 1,000 games every week? They're releasing 30 to 40 games every week right now.
Yeah,
Imagine it goes to 1,000 games a week. It's hard to weed through all that. And then, of course, the Batman license is going to be licensed to one or two studios, or whichever license you like is going to be licensed to one or two studios. So everyone else that makes a clone version of it is not going to be, it's not going to be legitimate, right? So
yeah.
there's going to be a whole slew of issues, and maybe people will get fed up with it and try to go back to physical. I don't know. We'll see.
So last thing, so there's a guy on YouTube where I've seen his videos. His name, and I feel like people should literally search him up. It's RRE36. I'll put the link in the description. This guy has remade Batman Arkham like completely. He's redesigned Arkham suits, and like it's all on Unreal Engine. There's like Batman Arkham Asylum. It looks insane the amount of suits that he's implemented and like how crisp and real he's made this look is insane. And I'm like,
Oh, I'm
if
looking at it
this
right now.
guy
Those look really good.
it looks so good. And I'm like, if this guy can do it, what's the holdup for making another Arkham video game? Like, this looks unreal. And I was watching some of the videos, and like, he's got one where it's a combination of Batman the Animated Series mixed with
Which
Batman
which you're
Return.
what you're realizing in real time is the fact that the fans care more than the developers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the
It's
fans
true.
are doing this for free, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And the thing is, and the developers have so much of an ego that they can't even get these guys that love this so much to come and do it. That's
dude.
what's
Yeah,
annoying about the industry, right? They're just so caught up in their own thing. And it's like, dude, people care about this. You should get these people. And by the way, there have been some studios that really do go and get the fan art and go get the fan stuff and go hire them. There are studios like that, but there's, one out of 1,000 that'll do it. You know,
yeah.
so yeah, what you're learning basically is that the corporate ladder just, and the egos and stuff that just get in the way of, what could be a great thing.
Yeah, and we saw those corporate egos get in the way of Suicide Squad killed at Justice League. Like, it did not have to be a live service game. No way. But on the opposite end, you look at Batman Arkham Shadow, the devs there, like Ryan Payton, Matt Walker, all those guys at Camouflage, like, they listened to the fans. They knew exactly what fans wanted, and they delivered. And honestly, I know I keep pushing that game. It needs to be played by fans. Like, it's so good. But Dave, thank you very much for coming on. where can people find you?
Okay. So, yes, video game store. I'm at 5150 Dixie Road in Mississauga. It's called Game Experts. On Google Maps, it's Video Game Experts. We're open every single day, Monday to Friday, 11 to 5, and then Saturday, Sunday, 6 and 5. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it, Dom. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. And as for Beyond the Bat Signal, we have an Instagram account. Where can you find us? Well, Instagram at Beyond the Bat Signal. Check it out. And we also have X/Twitter at Beyond Bat Signal. Shoot us an email at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com. And rate and review the show. It helps spread the word. For myself, Dave, thank you very much for tuning in. Until next time, we're the Bat Signal, and we are signing off.